It's that time on a Friday, Baz.
That's it.
It's the
Showtime.
CSP Friday Night Live at
Showtime,
7
mate.
o'clock.
Andy time.
Just a big shout out to our sponsors, Atlantis. Cracking gear. They've got we're actually going to put something together to get better content out there to let you see exactly what it is does and that does. There's Baz showing you just one example what you can get half a days, and there's another one, the last one, that's absolute classic t-shirt.
All available in medium?
Aye, if that's what size you are. Some people lie about their sizes right enough, so I wouldn't believe anything he says. Use the CSP code CSP5 to get £5 off on your order. And another shout out to McFadden Decorators as well, our other sponsors, Stephen there. So big shout out to our two sponsors. Baz, and welcome everybody. Baz, how you been? How's things?
Good, mate. Back at work this week, so I went back on Wednesday. Went back on Wednesday, 10 days off. So back at work to dry out. And, I'm on for 7, so I've been mental earlys all week. So I've been in bed at 7, half 7, 8. So tomorrow's the last early, and then I go back shift on Sunday, which I've managed to get a later back shift, so I can take in the game. So cheers to Mel Mucker at the work for the swap. But no, just he'd done now. He'd done to holiday time now, isn't it, big man? So get the pennies in and get the overtime in and just cracking on. But yourself, what's been happening? Where in the world have you been this week?
I've actually not been too far, to be honest with you, mate. Just bouncing about. Scott, I don't think I've been anywhere really. Not that I can remember. But as I can barely remember yesterday, never mind Monday. I think I've just been pretty local, to be honest with you. So I say it's been no bad. It's just touching on the holidays. We got away in June to Turkey. So I'm just hoping that all this carry on that's happening and isn't going to affect any kind of flights at that time, because just the way things are going week to week, it just seems to be escalating or a shit in the Middle East. And I'd actually just seen a clip for some Israeli minister or something like that talking about Turkey's the new Iran, you know, and I'm going, oh, please, don't go there, man. Don't go there. I only want in 2 weeks a year, do you know what I mean? Just don't go there. Aye. So I think Paul's going to be joining us pretty soon, I think. So I just want to bring up something, because I don't know if we should do this in our wait to Paul's on to see about it was just like I'd just seen it in X about an hour ago, the SPFL Team of the Year.
Aye, go for it. Off, dearie me.
Your first kind of thoughts when you look at that, you've got 5 Motherwell players, you've got 3 Hearts players, 1 from the dark side, and only 1 Celtic player. Baz, very, very unusual for an SPFL Team of the Year to be it with just 1 Celtic player in it. But are you surprised?
I'm surprised that Kieran's not there, if I'm honest. I know the laddie Milne has had a good season, and he has had a cracking season. They had to replace that laddie Penrice that I wanted to sign for us, Andy.
Yep.
So laddie Milne, listen, it's the players that vote for it, isn't it? So I suppose it's coming directly for the players. McGinn's in there. I don't know about that, but it just shows you how good Motherwell have been to watch, and because it's the players that pick it, Andy. These are the players that I suppose if you're playing against a Motherwell team that are playing really, really good football, and that they've got a few. I mean, I expected Masmanisi to be in there. Definitely expected the laddie Just to be in there. I fully expect him to be with us in the summer. He's got the Tom Rogic about him. The laddie Watt, you could argue Slattery should be in there as well. Benjamin Negren, I mean, I know he's not been everybody's cup of tea, but when you have the goals and assists that Negren has given you this season, I suppose he can't be ignored. But I suppose you get the token one in there as well, the usual. Scores a couple of goals and then concedes 5 in the last 2 games. Let's put him in the team of the year. But I suppose if you were, I wouldn't be too dissimilar. There's probably maybe 3 changes I'd make to my personal one, Andy. The laddie Braga was obviously gone again. I think he'll sweep the boards with the player of the year. Shankland, I know he's missed a big chunk of the season, but you can't argue. I suppose they're top of the league. He's their talisman. He's come back scoring goals again. I suppose maybe unfortunate that laddie Calvin Miller's not in it for
Mhm.
Falkirk.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, we talk about Motherwell, but Falkirk play a good brand of football there as well.
Yep.
He's had most assists this season, the laddie Calvin Miller. Rumours that he was meant to be coming back to us in January there. So, no, not entirely surprised with it. And as I say, it's the players that vote for it. So I suppose you can't be... I mean, it's... again, not too dissimilar to my own personal one. Certainly Halkett would be in it. Just would absolutely be in it. Maz Vinicius picks his Cell Braga. I'm a big fan of the laddie. Who's in the other wing at Hearts? Is it Kizaridis?
Yeah.
I know he started in fire. He's kind of tailed off, but he's a smashing player. I like him. But team of the year doesn't really bore me. But I'd have Kieran in there. I think he merits a shout. And obviously Negren. I think Negren would be in everybody's if they could. If there is such a thing as an unbiased opinion. And no fair play to Negren. Good luck to him. But I think that laddie Braga will sweep the board. So he'll win player of the year.
I must admit, I do like him as a player. I think he's got an eye for goal. He's pretty aggressive as well. He doesn't mind putting himself about. And I think when you're a team pushing for a title, I think you need players like that on your side. You know, somebody that's going to deliver, but isn't scared to put their what was that? What's that? Nancy for management.
Nightmares, Kes.
Just taking that too far now.
Yeah, like that.
I think looking at that team, to be honest with you, I've not really got any complaints myself. I think it's just really an indictment of just the position we're in as a club, that we've got one player, and that one player is one that splits opinion.
Divides opinion.
You know, that's in the SPFL player team of the year, and nobody else has seen for your team. I totally get where you're coming for the KT shout as well. I think he's had a pretty good season, considering. Again, it's just from my point of view, I'm just really kind of scunnered to the fact that a club that's absolutely dominated football, Scottish football, for the last 15 years, more than that, is now producing a team that can only fire one of their players into the team of the year is a sad indictment, unfortunately. And just while we're sorry, Baz, on you go, mate.
I think that's a good talk point, Andy, as well, because it does shine a light on where we are as a club and what sort of season we have had, Andy. It is a sad indictment. But however, at the same time, it's only down to the players that they're not in these, and they're running for these type of things. I don't see any of our players. Will Negren be in it for play of the year? I mean, they're going to take the 4 nominees for the team of the year, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I dare say Negren will be in there if the players have voted him in, but I wouldn't expect to see anybody in the running for the likes of these sports writers and stuff like that.
No, I wouldn't.
They'll jump on the Motherwell and Falkirk and Hearts bandwagon. But to your point, Andy, it is a sad indictment. But at the same time, the likes say your Callum McGregors, your Cian Tierney's, your Austin Trusties, your Liam Scales, your first names in the team sheet, they've been there all season, Andy, and we're still hanging in there. And to answer George Robertson's point, yes, we are. We are going to win the league, George. We absolutely are. Which we'll get to, I'm sure, later in the show. Josh Milligan's a shout there as well there for Wilson. But listen, I don't hang too much. See, when we were sweet mall before us, Andy, I didn't hang too much on it at those sort of times. The Callum McGregors, the James Forrests, the Dyson Miders who've been runaway players of the year. I suppose you could put Negren in that category by default of statistics, and he does divide opinion. I thought he did a really smashing game against St Mirren until he got took off. Going to have to find a place for him in the team for the remainder of the season, no matter what starting lineup you put out. You have to find a way for him to be in it, Andy. But you're absolutely right, and it is quite sad. It's indicative of what season we have had, Andy, because it's been at times a shambles, at times beyond belief, but at the same time we're still in it, which goes to show for all these players that they're all parading in front of us and all want to go up for awards and all want to get the kudos. What happens when we do win it? How bad are everybody else, really? When we
that's a good point. You know, if we weren't to win it, it tells you how bad we are and how much Scottish football's improved. But if we do win it, it shows you how bad Scottish football is, and actually hasn't progressed. We have just regressed, which just highlights exactly the situation that we're in at the moment.
And there's one for plunge. There's one for plunge. I've been keeping an eye on this laddie, Chaiwa, at Hibs. Slap bang in the middle of the park.
Yep.
I'm tempted to say the laddie Devlin, but that would be a disservice to Chaiwa. I think there's more footballing ability about, you know what I mean? He breaks things up, he intercepts, he gets involved, puts his foot in, but there's more of a footballer about him. I see there's talks from Italy that are shown admiring glances towards this laddie at Hibs, but he is one that's been talked along with Josh Mulligan of talks with us in the summer. What's your thoughts on the laddie Chaiwa, or have you not been keeping too much? I've not had a spotlight on him or anything like that, but he's certainly somebody that stood out in that team. You know, somebody you look at and say he could absolutely do a job for us. And just when you mention Italy, I know he's no Scottish, but you know, he's playing in the Scottish League, and the amount of times that they come sniffing about players that play here, and a lot of the time we are turning our nose up at them, or maybe they think that, you know, they could progress their career by going and playing in Italy. And listen, there's been quite a few players that have went to Italy and actually turned out to be smashing players, and players that sometimes we look at them and go, oh, not too sure, you know, what's going to happen there. So I do like him as a player. I think he could definitely do a job for Celtic. I'm not totally invested on kind of who we're going to bring in the summer and things like that, because we've got so many. We've got so many players to bring in. We've got a management team to bring in. We've got recruitment to get sorted out. We've got the guys that are running the club to sort out that situation as well, obviously with the fans. Got so much going on, so much work to do, and it's really hard to kind of take it all in and process it, everything that's needing done. I would love to be sitting here in a position going, can't wait to next season to see who we're going to come and really improve us. We have got so much work to do. It's an absolutely huge job with a system in place that simply doesn't work, Buzz. You know, that's what concerns me. Who's to blame for every single thing you've just said there, Andy? Who's to blame?
Well, it's the men at the top, obviously. You know, they're the ones that are overseeing everything. They're the ones that are appointing the people that are below them, recruitment, management, and then they ones are eyeing up the players and deciding who's coming in. So they've got to make a decision on who are we actually putting in charge that's good enough to recognise talent, good enough to come in and actually improve us. Now, we have regressed that much that we have went for and Brendan Rodgers' first time here, right, for 69 games unbeaten to getting excited about 1 and 2 games in a row. That's the levels that we have trapped at. It's really quite embarrassing, to be honest with you. How you doing, Paul? Welcome.
Well, boys, that's probably the latest shit. Can you find the link? Was it there? No matter.
I put it on the chat. How did you go on?
I've got on with the link, guy, but no, I'm a fucking mind addict. I've not got a fucking clue about technology, remember, Baz. If it's not at the top of the page, I'm fucked, You know what I mean?
Anyway, more importantly, never mind you. How's Louise?
She's just come into the kitchen the other day. She's doing well. You're doing all right, Pally?
No choice.
No choice.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, as I keep saying, how's your pain, pal? I keep getting hit with the classic. I've had 3 burns, so you know what I mean.
Oh, the uterus.
You know what I mean. We can't compete with that shit. So
no, you can't, man.
No, she's doing very well, isn't you? I think she always waits till I just got on before he come crashing through here, to be fair. But that aside,
you've never had a mould master in the winter.
Sorry, Buzz, I ain't fucking bothered hearing you, man.
Right, that's fine. Some folk would say that's not a bad
That's the one.
Aye, it's a wee bit better now. Paul, just before you come on, we actually discussed or I brought up the overlay of the SPFL Team of the Year. What's your kind of thoughts about that? About having 5 Motherwell players, 3 Hearts players, 1 Rangers player, and only 1 Celtic player. Any surprises there?
Well, one's too many hands in it, so that's the first one. So that was my first one, subtraction. McGinn, me and Baz kind of we discussed about this today. I've not seen anything about this laddie Fernandez that we're all raving about. Either, by the way. I'm not the hun that's in it. I don't see too much that's impressed me him. And that, I think the debate me and Baz had was on the left back position. Right, big man. I'll give you a wee phone in a while, and I will. Couple of messages tonight, remember, nod, wink, wink. So, the left back, KT would be my shout back. I've not seen, the boy Mullins played pretty well, the boy Mullen played pretty well, but I think that just kind of sums, I think more than anything it sums up your season when the one player that we've got in it is somebody that goes aside, we wouldn't even hear your own starting 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're being honest. Yeah. So, listen, again, you've just put up a graphic that sums up your season.
Yeah.
I think I do agree with James. I think Trusty would be the one that would be in. They should be in there. The boy McGinn, come on. I know they've put him at right back. I don't know if he's even playing there. But aye, that's what Trusty aside. I agree with Alistair and I agree with James. Trusty aside, I don't think there's anybody else that could have a. I'm just trying to think. There isn't any, isn't there? Isn't anybody in there? So
No.
So there
That's
you go.
no floating my boat this season anyway, lads.
There you go.
You mentioned Trusty there, and I tell you what, he was put up for the press duty today. Big Trusty, very confident laddie, very assured of himself, very courteous and polite as well. Just now that just gives off the vibe that he's a good lad. But it was just, they were talking about obviously the semi-final coming up on Sunday. He was just giving some standard response. You know, I'm excited to play. It's a good atmosphere. Hampden apparently, I don't know. But I certainly wouldn't agree with that.
I didn't mind Hampden.
Oh, I mean,
the only thing I like about Hampden is the access to it. Like to get into the stadium is very, very easy. For me, because I hate fucking stairs, man. My legs get into a cramp. So anytime I've been, I've always had a really good seat. But I think getting the shape of the actual stadium, it's way. You know, when they improved that stadium, they fucked up big time when they didn't make it more compact. And the whole design of it is really just outdated. It really is. It's terrible.
You ever done arriving in the bus and you go under the ground and all that to get into the changing rooms and that, Andy? Hands up.
Aye. We're going to hear about this. I know.
Big Trusty knows what I'm talking about. I can hear Steve. Here it goes again.
And you actually won, didn't you? You won that cup.
Oh, well, since you mention it, mate, right? Hands up if you've won the Scottish Hampden, right? Okay. But he was saying, you know, trophies. He kept referring to it as organisation. I was like, stop saying organisation. You know, trophies are what we're all about in this organisation.
That's the American in him, innit? You know.
Mark O'Neill, he's a class coach. Lot of intensity. Main thing is his leadership, things that you would expect to hear. Then they were saying, well, what's he changed for the first time round? And he was just saying, look, it was a continuation from the first time because he didn't have to change much because of his all-round leadership. We had a bad period. Obviously, he was talking about under that Nancy. I can't even bring myself to say his name. But they were just saying, you know what, the intensity and the pressure increased. High pressure situations is what we're all about. We had a tough spell and we've bounced back. And then they were saying about no Liam Scales. So then they were asking him about, that'll be you shifted out to the left and yada yada. And he was saying, listen, regardless of who plays next to me, the guys are ready to step up. And then I've just got World Cup pish. Because they started asking him about the World Cup, and I'm like, all right, Paul's not going to want to hear a single bit. Not a single bit yet.
Thank you. So the missus has handed me half a pancake. I'm going to eat it.
And he basically says he would play wherever they wanted him to play. So big Trusty, very positive, very, very plausible, very articulate, I suppose, in how he was speaking. Keeping it nice and sharp, I suppose. He gave off the vibe that, see if I could get away with saying yes or no here, I would just say yes or no.
Right.
He was keeping it straight to the point, no fanning about. And then they were not to talk about who's going to partner him at the back, Andy. So nothing revolutionary, but just all looking forward to Sunday. So who do we think is going to partner him, Andy? Because it can only be Murray or Ben Arthur.
Aye, well, I'll probably go for Arthur. My personal opinion would be Arthur. But I don't know what you think. Would you go with Murray, Buzz?
Well, I suppose we should cover Matt O'Neill as well, because Matt, for all he said a lot, but didn't say much, if you know what I mean. I know it sounds daft, they were asking him questions and he was giving them answers. I know that's what it's all about, but he wasn't really. They were saying about your Scottish Cup history and blah, 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 and he's just saying, I'm looking forward to it. And they were trying to probe him on, is this revenge against St Mirren because it's back at Hampden? And he was like, listen, I wasn't even here. So, but he did give a breakdown of the injuries. AJ is not going to say on the grass, I'll get the yellow card. He's been playing, he's been back in small-sided games. So he is in amongst the team and he is in that contact phase of the recovery, but he did say small-sided games, but they're not the same as 11s. So no AJ this weekend. Callum Osmond, he was more positive about. He's progressing and it's encouraging. I think he might a wee sneaky that he might be on the bench on Sunday, but he did say that he was looking for both of them for the next set of league fixtures. But I wouldn't have been entirely surprised given how complimentary and how elaborative he was on Callum Osmond, that you might see Callum Osmond on the bench on Saturday, which may give light to, is it 2 up top? So if you're playing Chivanchera and Iheanacho for the start, you need a backup on the bench, Paul.
Do we think he's going to do that? He's going to go 2 up top? Can't see it.
I don't think he's going to change at all.
Yeah.
I think he has. I watched a bit of his presser actually. Sorry for saying presser.
It's a yellow card, innit?
Oh dear me. And he kind of elaborated a wee bit, and he was going down that avenue. Like, I'm not going to change everything. It's too late in the game to be kind of chopping and changing kind of stuff like that. So I don't believe so. Sorry, Paul, for jumping in there.
No, you're all right, mate. If you think you play, I think if the original questions we will play beside Trusty, I think it's Arthur, innit? That would be my. There's Kez coming with one no play.
It's a Kez. It's not the worst shout.
Trusted. Listen, I mean, KT's played there before. It's just I can't say I'm an expert on it because it seems to be exclusively with Scotland and it's not my thing. But no, I mean I can see him playing there. I'm not sure. Does he really have the stature to play at centre half? Do I think? Do you know what I mean? As part of a 2, maybe a 3, but.
I think the full Scotland thing, Paul, I know you don't do it right, but Scotland were given the vibe that I need my best players on the park.
Yeah.
And I think that meant, right, to get Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney in the same team. I think that's more a Scotland thing than what it is a Celtic thing, Paul, because when Kieran was getting the ball at the back, certainly in a back 3, he was just rampaging forward alongside Andy Robertson, and then they became a partnership up the wing. I can't see it. If you would humour me for a minute, that I don't think it would be the most the biggest surprise ever if Matt O'Neill did go with a 3 on Sunday, because St Mirren are going to put 2 big bruisers up top. If you go with a 4, then it's man for man. So Kieran on the left of a 3, Trusty slap bang in the middle, Arthur on the right of the back 3, Sarachi on the left, Ralston on the right. You'll have your 3 midfield and 2 up top, but it doesn't leave much room for Maeda and Yang. But that would be in the case of the Kieran Tierney conundrum, because there is a few shouts to get Sarachi in the team. I just think you keep it nice and simple, Paul, and put Kieran on the left and Sarachi on the right. What's the problem here? But why are we not doing that?
Yeah, that would work for me. I'm a great believer in fullbacks can play. Paul, what are you saying? I believe what am I saying? I could see the comments you do on the side. Is that a thing, new thing, or is that? I like it.
Is it just because up the side causes 3?
I know, I like it.
Just because we can't be arsed putting them up manually, so we just let it roll.
No, but I have a pen because I write stuff down that I'm going to maybe come back to. I very rarely do come back to it. There was what I've wrote down Always Sunny in Philadelphia because somebody made a quote about that earlier on talking about Trusty, and it's a really good programme, so it was a good shout. So stuff like that. I agree. I think there's nobody telling me that Sarachi couldn't do a job at right back. Although, listen, I think we covered it last week. I think Big Ralston, the more I think about Big Ralston, and I think he gets a raw deal, to be fair. I really do. I think when I think back to his, I was thinking about this during the week because I watched his back, and we spent a bit of time talking about Big Ralston, and I mean, he was a first pick for Big Ange. I mean, in that season, I think
he was the first person they actually met at Lennoxtown when he turned up. Yeah. Ralston was sitting there, and they actually kind of went out and spoke to him, aye.
So he sneaked to sell in. He sneaked to sell in, is what we're saying, Andy. But no, I think. Listen, he's not going to ever be everybody's cup of tea. Benny Martley means he's never going to be world class, but he's what he is, and I would like to see Sirachi playing there, but I don't think he will either. I think he'll stick with what he knows. I think that's a deal between now and the end of the season. He's got his idea who he wants to play and where, and he's got his system, and he's not going to change it. I can't see that happening.
He did elaborate, Paul. He did say something.
I've not seen that, by the way. I've not seen. Can I just say I've not seen any Celtic content at all today. I've said that word content. I'm fucking just think that annoys me too. Because I stuck on Axel, and I'm sorry I have to say it, but the boy host that I just can't suffer. He seems a lovely lad, but I just can't. I'm sorry, but I should sometimes keep my mouth shut. But
Martin O'Neill did say, Paul. He did say it's too late.
So I've seen nothing. So fall in.
Something along the lines of it's too late in the day to be making massive changes, so we'll be sticking with the 4-3-3, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it's the exact same scale. It can't be because scales, but last week's starting 11 with Ben Arthur in for Scales and Trusty shifted to the left. That's my prediction. If you're asking me for the starting 11, I think he'll go to Vanstra tomorrow, with the view to bringing Iheanacho on because he's clearly still not got 90 minutes in his legs, Andy.
Baz, do you think that at times, majority of times this season, that Maeda is almost like an empty jersey, and you almost think to yourself, I know he always puts an effort in, and sometimes he wins the ball and then he just gives it away again, because he hasn't got a first touch, and you go, should you really sacrifice somebody that could give a wee bit more just for his industry, because he's not got a touch and he's not got a goal at the moment. That's my concern. But then who do you bring in? But
is it true that he's not scored in his last 18 games?
That's mate. It's a terrible record considering where he was last season. At that level, to drop so far. And listen, he's not the only one at the club that's done that this season. Just about the entire team has dropped so many levels. It's quite scary.
Maybe he needs a shot across the brow, Andy. Maybe he needs help because what players are like. They can be really, really selfish and really, really self-centered within themselves to say, see, regardless of what happens here, I'm still playing. Now that's not getting the best out of Maeda by simply keeping picking him. Which again, I've got that. Know what I'm like when I get something in my head. That would tend me to think as well, see if he needs a shot across the brow, put him on the bench, go with your two wing-backs and pick two forwards up front. Bring him for Captain Chaos in the second half to get him back into it when the game's opened up and the spaces. I'll tell you about the spaces at Hampden Wandy another time, guys. It's a massive part. I only get cramped once. That cup final. But to your point, Andy, there comes a point where Is a semi-final when you're going to do it? Probably no. But is Falkirk at home, for example, next Saturday night? Does Tenetsky come back in to say to Maeda, listen, see if you want to play in this derby, get your act together.
Right.
But again, that would tend me to think if Martin's going to change it, that would be the change. But I think, can you really see him no pick Maeda tomorrow? But again, that's no doing Maeda or Maeda's head or Maeda's perceived I was going to say commitment because I don't think that's one thing you can ever label it dies and he still charges down. But he might need that slap across the
face. Are we guilty then thinking, that maybe the next game he's got a goal on and we'll see a change in Dies? And listen, we've been talking about that with the team the whole season. Maybe the next game we're going to get a total performance and then it doesn't arrive. But maybe the next... We're guilty ourselves in the podcast by saying, I think we're going to win 4-0. I think we're going to win 5-0. And then the next thing you're like, where are these goals coming from? Because it's certainly not for Dyson.
Yeah, There's been some fucking howling predictions this season, isn't there?
Aye,
But
definitely.
But I think we can rest assured there's one game he's going to be picked for in the next few weeks. Absolutely.
Aye.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's a week spell on the sidelines he needs, Paul. What do you think?
He's fit he plays for me.
Think so?
Yeah, aye, pretty much, Baz. Yeah, and I know what Andy's saying, but then we got that for Hitati. We said the same with Hitati. If he could give us like it was 8 games we were at the time that we went to Ibrox, and he did. He gave us a couple of weeks. He was tremendous, and then he just seemed to fall out the picture again.
I bet he get dropped in, didn't he? He did get taken out the team,
Andy,
and then he came back in and he looked a wee bit better. I agree with Baz. I think maybe that's what's required. I don't know if that's going to make a difference to my idea. I think naturally he's just no go at it. I think we were extremely lucky last season when he was scoring goals. I think it's something today with the time that Harry Kuehl was here and working with him personally and directly, just the two of them together on his touch and stuff like that. I think he's just kind of fair out. Listen, I don't know the situation with coaches and how much kind of personal work they do with specific positions, but do you think he's kind of fell off a cliff almost since he had that kind of personal touch and a bit of coaching going on personally with today with finishing and stuff like that? I'm not too sure.
Andy, who knows? I mean, I think the fact he was out the door is probably the biggest factor that's there. And just to go back to Alistair's point, so there are a couple of reasons for that. Obviously, I'm well documented. My dad was a big Dunfermline fan, would have been at the game tomorrow if he'd passed away. And also, I fucking hate Falkirk. Not to do with that mad Fife Falkirk rivalry. I don't know where that ever come from. But I just don't like them, never have liked them. So, aye, hopefully Dunfermline do harmony. But I don't think the Will Falkirk will be too strong for Dunfermline anymore, I think.
And may I say, while we're on the subject, good luck to Neil Francis Lennon tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you in the final, wee Lenny. That'd be
brilliant. So that would be great, wouldn't it? But I can't see it. I think Falkirk will be too much for them tomorrow.
I think so.
But hey ho, you never know. So back to your point, Andy. No, I think Dyson just is suffering for the same as everybody else. There's an apathy. There's a just everything that's went wrong this season. Is just who knows. Either hand bastards, Alistair. But by the way, Dunfermline's not far behind them with their wee fucking mob that runs about. And I used to knock about with them when we were younger because I went to school in Dunfermline, St Columbus, and we mob we're all St Columbus boys, and New Dunfermline's got the hand bastards flying them tail. Didn't worry about that.
Oh, I was up here yesterday, Paul. Lochgarry.
That's right.
You know, Purvis.
Yes, I do.
I was in there. Mate.
That's literally 5 minutes with me, Andy lad.
Aye.
You should have popped in. If I was in, so it'd have been a waste of your fucking time. So
aye.
Next time, mate. Next time.
Definitely.
No, absolutely. Would I absolutely would not. The thought it gives me the fear, James.
You leave Neil Francis alone.
I know, mate. He's done his stint. He's done his stint. But no, I think I think Dyson, I think all the comments are coming in. I like this wee feature actually because David told me as always is never far away. Lack of confidence, I think, and I think that's the same way. But you know, I'm not making excuses for this team, but they've not had a lot of breaks. They've not had a lot of lucky. I watched last week. Obviously, I was at the game, so I was watching, and I touched on it on Monday. I don't think man, that killed the cup final treble, didn't it? I don't think you need to update your Pope picture. I like this new Pope better. I like this boy Trump to get to.
And he hates Trump, which is good.
Trump is great, isn't it? No, he's picked a battle there going against the Catholics, like.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Politics, religion, exes. Come on now.
Discussed the politics one got fucked a long time ago, didn't it? My first show, I got fucked. So I didn't care where I was. It's one of these shows. I'm not sure what I'm talking about.
Do you want a wee teaser, lads? You want a wee teaser to get the thinking? Right, troops, viewers, please get involved. So Martin and Neil St. Martin will go into his
Toronto Boys
looking to get into his 5th Scottish Cup final on Sunday. He'll be looking to get into Cup final number 5, right? Your teaser for this evening, the last time Martin O'Neill was in a Scottish Cup final was 2005. It was the 28th of May, 2005. It was a 1-0 victory over Dundee United. What I'm asking the viewers and yourselves to do today, and it's not as hard as you would think, give me the starting 11 from the 2005.
Come on.
Fuck's sake, lads.
Lads, it's the Martin O'Neill era. Come on, it's not that hard. So we'll park that for 5 minutes. Get the comments in. Get a few stabs at it, troops.
I'm trying. Can you get your comments off here? No, is that no thing?
What's that, mate?
Can you not put your comments off here now if they're on?
Oh no, that's fit. No,
That's all right. Right, okay, right.
If any of the viewers get it their own Google, James Allen Wiper is googling this the new, so he'll
Aye,
put up.
good. Well, put the answers up so I can copy them.
Aye. I'm like Andy. I've got Andy saying that before I come in. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago.
Oh. Aye. Right, I'm going to bring it. Right now. You've done the teaser. I'm going. I don't know if any of you've seen this. It was a interview Scott Brown done with Daily Ranger. These are just comments that he said there, asking about the obviously Celtic board and that. Obviously talking about the league. If they go and win the league, after all the pressure and all the criticism of the board, the players and manager coming and leaving, it will be the best league win ever. Then he goes on to say there are a lot of vultures out there on social media and podcasts who think they know how to run the club better. It's as if people think Celtic can just go out and spend 20 million on a player because the money is in the bank. But if you do that and you don't make it the Champions League, then what happens? The club starts going into red. Which are thoughts on initially the comments, but the fact that it's came from captain and former captain and legend Scott Brown?
I'll jump in as a fellow Fifer that knows quite a bit about Bruni, and I think the term brains in his feet were pretty much fucking created for the likes of Scott Brown. And I loved him as a player. I've been in his company once and he tried to avoid us at a sportsman's dinner. Your boss was there and he'd been warned.
To be fair, Paul, I kind of get his point.
He'd been warned in advance to stay away from the cow meat phone calls, which failed fucking miserably, might I add.
Any day, Paul. Don't you there's room in the back seat for you any day, my son.
Absolutely, mate. But it backfired dramatically because we're all on like a fucking rash. Unnecessarily so at times, just because we'd heard he'd been warned. But no, he seems a nice enough laddie, but he's not the brightest fucking tool in the box, that's for sure. Just stay in your lane. And shut the fuck up. Same with Neil Lennon. Shut the fuck up. We're the ones that are there every week. We're the ones that are watched it in front of your eyes. We're the ones that didn't take millions at the club. Need a suspect to either of the two of them because we're two brilliant servants. If anybody deserves money, then they two are top of the tree. But the both of them have had things to say about this board. But concentrating on Bruni, I mean, it's just a fucking mess of words, isn't it? If anybody could look at how the seasons went and how predictable it's been and how we all seen it coming a mile away is just insane. And just Benny, when I see your name, mate, I've still got your top here. I'll drop it out here, maybe on the night, but I'll drop it out on the weekend. The one you won. It's just shut the fuck up, ex-players. I mean, you had the benefit of playing for the club. You had the very real fucking privilege of playing for the club. The privilege of getting paid handsomely and turned into multi-millionaires for playing for the club. I haven't got a beef with that, even though money's a kind of football is ridiculous. But I mean, it's what it is. And if that's what players deserve, that's what they deserve. But no more Benny. But then he go about telling us what to think about the club and the board and the current state of the board. Look at the fucking team we're talking about. Lawn are tremendous.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
I'm just going to shut the fuck up. That's absolutely fucking genius. Right, that's it. That's that done. Thank you, Lauren. That was a quote. I'm going to steal that. I will steal that and use that as my own, by the way. I'm bad for that.
Baz, what's your thoughts on Bruni? Is it a coincidence that he left there 2 weeks ago, and is he just is he staying relevant? He doesn't want to say too much about the club, but surely if you're seen as a legend with Celtic, you don't really want to get involved in any kind of spark with the fans or any kind of negativity that could go against your legend status. Surely,
my knee-jerk reaction to this is, what is it with the Chris Commonses, the Andy Walkers, the Charlie Nicholases,
David Province.
Exactly right. That's why I put that one up for you tonight, Paul. David Province free cup final. Scottish Cup gets me nostalgic. Everyone's nostalgic tonight, but it gets me. Scottish Cup gets me. Do you know what I mean? But I just think I don't hear this at any other club.
Nobody as well, you're right.
I don't hear any ex-players at any other club coming out and saying things like this. Now, my knee-jerk reaction was I was disappointed. I'm all right, Bruni's said something right. He's going to get right behind us, tell us the board need to do this, the board need to do that. Now, for a start, it's the pesky podcasters again, podcasters out to talk about our team and we're trying to run it. For a start, nobody on this podcast or any other podcast that I've heard has ever suggested, even remotely close to spending £20 million on a player. One, because it's unrealistic, and two, you've also got to pay £20 million wages. So Bruni, I honestly don't know why he has felt the need to do this. I don't know what questions he was getting asked, but he's obviously formed this opinion. You're the one that couldn't suffer it at Ayr United. No, we were all behind you. You'll come again, and get him on a coaching staff and blah blah blah. Why do ex-Celtic players need to get involved in nonsense like this? And see if somebody asks you a question, he's all right. You're saying he's not the brightest tool in the box, Paul. But whatever comes out of a Scott Brown's mouth is going to get put in black and white. Now that trigger. Hold on a minute. They're pushing me here. They're trying to put me into a corner.
That's where the fucking lack of brains comes in, though, probably.
Right. Why? See, the thing is, Baz, it should be aware of the questions that it could be getting answers that it could be getting asked because of the climate around the club. Exactly. If you read the room and go, right, what kind of questions am I going to get asked here? What's going on at the club now? Surely you've got to back away for that. Why put yourself in that position? It's just a kind of silly thing to do. And another thing, there's Chris Sutton, isn't he, Shy? He's another who's seen as a legend at Celtic, a great player for Celtic under Martin O'Neill, who happens to be the manager at the moment. Isn't scared to put the boot in, but make his feelings known and throw the party line.
And he's done it he's done it consistently. I just seen Ryan there referring to, I presume he was referring to Scott Brown as a sheepshagger. I hope you're not suggesting that just because he stays in the same tune as me, Ryan, that would put me in that would put me in the similar category. Mate, he's a hell of a beast cunt, to be fair. They're a breed of their own. I think Sutton's a great example, Andy. Somebody that is as good as they get. Ken, he will praise us to high heavens. Not quite in the Joe Hart category. He praising us. He just loves praising Celtic, which is great. On the borderline. I think, Bruni's comments, just again, everything I've kind of heard about him off the park in regards, no his personality or him as a person, but just what's up fucking there. And
this £20 million thing as well.
There
Paul.
you go. Right, Ryan. Okay, mate. That's a good point. He did play for Aberdeen.
I think that the highest.
I can't deny that, George.
The highest amount we were touted to pay in the summer and in January was like the £6-7 mark, £6-7 million mark. Maybe,
no, £6-7 a bit, right?
Aye. We paid that for ballot. We should, we know.
Can I just jump in on
the
David Grant's point about I'm growing up a Rangers fan? Again, a wee bit of a kind of a myth there as well. He played football.
Kenny Douglas grew up one of them. So.
Aye, far more than Scott Brown if he did. I mean, he comes from Hull-Beath, which again, ironically, was where my family landed when they come here. And it is a total hun place. or was to the Jim Baxter start United side it. That's not Jim Baxter, because I know like family and Borkins are very, apart from being a wonderful football player, a very decent person as well. But a bit of myth that Bruni, there was a thing about the Kimberley tattoo on his leg and all that pish. I mean, his family were fairly mixed. His brother went on our bus for as long. His cousin went on our bus for as long. So I think that's a wee bit of a myth that gathers. He probably favoured Rangers when he was growing up, but a supporter I think is pushing it a bit. Whereas Dalglish, Jockstein,
whatever happened to them, Paul?
Aye, exactly. They done all right, So they're proper Rangers supporters, but I don't think Bruni really was as such. But he can shut his plus on this. He's behaving like one. I'm
very surprised. I'm a bit how that way when you give the win around, you say, listen, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed now. One of the ones, why? He just joins. He's next in line of a long line of ex-Celtic players that for some reason, Chris Sutton aside, Joe Hart aside, Joe Ledley aside, why? Just why? I don't understand it. And somebody says there, he's angling for a job at Celtic. Do you know what the ironic thing about that is, Paul? That's exactly how to get a job for Brent.
Fucking true.
Unbelievable.
I've got to be honest with you, no matter what I think his comments, and I think you're absolutely right. To be honest with you, we could have done with a character like Bruni fucking 4 months ago or something like that, and run about the club, the dressing room.
Yeah.
Just having that kind of born winner run about. I know we've got Callum there, they're really different personalities when you think about it, but I don't know what Scott Brown is like as a coach or a manager. He's obviously come away from early.
No, very good.
Do you think he's try to kind of wile his way into Celtic in some way in a coaching role, or is it just really no thinking about what he's saying that's led him up this path to kind of criticise? See, that's the thing I don't get. It was never going to come out of this looking good, I don't think, with the comments that he said. It was always going to, because things are still so tentative, the GB's only just been allowed back into the stadium after months and months out, the majority of the season. So, things are still really kind of, the emotions are still really high or things like this. Maybe we are overreacting to comments. Maybe we're in a situation now where any kind of criticism at all, take it to heart. Maybe stepping back and then thinking about it, you go, well, right, he's just giving his opinion, which everybody's entitled to. Just because we don't agree with it doesn't mean it's no valid.
Listen,
personally, I don't agree with his comments. I've got to say that. I think it's ill-advised that he's went and made them. But I'm not going to tarnish him. I'm not going to say, it doesn't really change my opinion of him. It just a wee bit kind of disappointed with the fact that he actually came out with that.
Listen, I've seen me watching this back an hour later. I think, why the fuck did I say that? I didn't even agree with that. You know what I mean? So I think we can allow for a misquote back and forward. Or worse still, when you watch the back, I'm not sure if that's even true. You know what I mean? It was a score you've got wrong or something. You're like, fuck. So listen, he's got a camera in front of him, and he's quite for all his again. Keep going on about this supposed pretty lackey intelligence. He comes across well in the media, Scott Brown. Actually, he speaks pretty well. But it's a bit of faux pas there for me. But he is James Wiper, absolutely still a legend.
Without a
shadow of doubt. One of the best, probably the best Celtic captain I've seen or this discussion before. Roy Eating. He's just behind. That's the company he's keeping. So, but I'll forgive him on this time. But watch yourself, Bruni. Or you're watching your mum in Hillbeath.
Yellow card, Bruni.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish your teaser, boys? See how we can crack
on.
Alistair Jack. Alistair Jack is the only one who's put up his starting 11. And Alistair, you get 10 of 11, brother. 10
right,
of 11.
Hold on, I get back and look at his comment.
No. So, listen, lads, between the two of you, right? Who was Martin O'Neill's goalie?
Rab Douglas,
right? He had a back three. Who was his centre halves in 2005?
Bobo. I'll be.
Nope.
Nope. All right, wait a minute.
Scored plenty goals. Big centre half, scored. Always good for a goal. Big hairdo. I was it. They got him for Sunderland, I believe.
Oh, fucking Ramon.
Varga.
No,
Varga.
no.
Stan
Oh.
Varga. Stan Varga.
Oh, big Stanislav. Oh, fuck aye. It
And
wasn't
someone-
bad, was he?
Someone who Martin O'Neill converted to a centre half in the back three, albeit one player of the year for Celtic on the wing, I believe. Talk about good captains.
Boy.
Who slotted into the back three in latter years?
For the wing.
For the wing.
Yeah. Good partnership with Simon Donnelly.
Can't come on tomorrow.
Jackie was the back three. So
Oh,
Brad
aye,
Douglas,
aye.
Bobo Balde, Varga and Jackie. Right, the two wing backs. Andy, who was in the right? Martin O'Neill's wing back. Who was in the right?
Can I get this
On the
one?
right. On the right hand
Who's it?
side.
Oh my
This was
God.
2005.
Yeah, mate. Wow.
But there's a few. I mean, I'm
Jump
Sarah?
in, you know, Paul.
Momo Salah.
No.
2000.
got a Gatti.
Yeah, did you get? Who was in the left then, Andy?
That's who I meant. That's who I meant. Oh,
So who was in the left then? If a guy was in the right, who was in the left?
Thompson.
Indeed he was. Indeed he was. Paul, who
Top
was
player.
centre mid? God,
We're still Lennon Lambert.
It was wee Lenny. And you've said Sutton. You've missed out a big name in the middle of the pack.
Petrov.
Stan Petrov. And it was a front two. Both of the same country. Who was the front two?
2005.
God, my memory's so bad.
Zerafsky.
Nope. Two strikers of the same country.
Oh, it was. That was way too early.
So Sutton was in midfield.
All right. Hartson.
Yeah.
And
Bellamy.
Bellamy. So starting 11, 28th of May 2005, a 1-0 victory over Dundee United. Starting
fucking
11.
hell, and by the way, no wonder I can't remember. What a shite cup final.
Oh,
Was it we
brutal,
kept to
man.
lose to like that little bastard Scott McDonald's winner we won it.
Oh, it was a sore one. So Rab Douglas was in goals. A back three, Balde, Varga, Jackie. Two wing backs, Agat and Thompson, Neil Francis, Petrov, Sutton, Hudson and Bellamy. Well done, troops. And Alistair Jack, you had useful Garin in there, but you
I
just
was the
missed
North
it.
Stand that day right in line with the goal. I
Aye.
pitched the rain all day, didn't it? It was
Oh, it
just
was a
bleak.
horrible day. And
was
you knew
bleak.
Martin was leaving, and it was horrible, man.
Oh, and that fucking...
Aye. So then, just another wee bit of trivia for you, gents. So Martin O'Neill has played 24 Scottish Cup games. 24. And he's only lost 2. One was a cup final. I think we were all at that one. But out with that cup final, who's the only other team to beat a Martin O'Neill Celtic in the Scottish Cup out of 24 other than Separate Identity FC?
Hearts.
No.
Hibs.
No, it came right at the game after Liverpool. Remember we beat Liverpool in
Oh, but Inverness.
up at Inverness. Aye,
Yeah.
Inverness, Cali.
Howler. Yeah.
Aye, aye.
That was in between. That was in between. We beat Liverpool on the fucking
The Wednesday.
Thursday.
Aye.
The Wednesday or
Aye.
the Thursday, and they beat us on Sunday. Fucking
That's
hell,
right.
so it was.
Aye. There you go. Bit of trivia for you tonight, lads. Well done.
Thanks, Baz. Just made me
Excellent.
an absolute cunt.
I mean, that
Always love
Carly
when you do that.
Oh, brutal, man. Brutal.
Right, so we're almost done. So we better touch on the game at the weekend then. What's your overall thoughts getting into this Semi-final at Hampden against the team that beat us in the League Cup final, albeit a different manager. Are we? Aye, on you go.
Somebody else before we go on.
Yep.
And make my feelings really fucking clear on what I think of Hibs as a football club. Obviously, we've seen the day that Hibs have announced again the petty fucking cunts that they are. That they're giving us a third of that stand. I'm fucking putting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got a lot of friends that are Hibs fans that I've already offended a lot of times a day on various platforms and whatnot. And I'll see them on June the 5th. They're at the Conley thing. But their club's a cunt of a club. And so's the majority of the supporters. Let's call it as I see it. I mean, there's I'm in Beanie Easter Road, and I think it was Parky Bona. One of the Irish players getting in, they were saying there was a genuine, they deny this, there was a charity of dirty Fenian bastard for the Hibs end. So let's put to bed that there's some sort of affiliation between Celtic and Hibs.
Yeah, Hibs love-in's done now, man.
Aye, absolutely. They're petty bastards. And to cut our allocation, when they, I think they've just posted 7 million loss or something like that. There's
but
big,
Paul,
big.
what is the thinking behind it?
It's not even just that, right? They say about the money side of it, right? No, being not a big deal after the Polish and all that, and that's fine. I kind of get that. What about how it looks?
Yeah.
What about how it looks on the telly when you've got you're coming towards the business end of a season? When if anybody in England could be arsed, or not that I give a fuck about that, but Sky will. If anybody in England or further afield can be arsed watching a Scottish game, and they know that it's nip and tuck, like I would. I mean, I didn't watch English football, but if it was a championship game on and I knew it was a top of the table clash, I might give a second look. You know what I mean? Because I think there's something in this, and you know, as a football fan, it'll entice me in. But you'll turn that game on, whatever it is, and you'll see the pathetic sight. I think the last time there was about 100 people. It was somebody Kunta. There was 100 people in the stand that they took for us. Now that's a lot of money. It's probably not going to touch the size of their debt that they're in, but again, just look at how it makes the product look too in Scottish football, and then the pettiness of that, and it's never a fixture that had any kind of bad feeling in it. I mean, it was one of the places. I mean, I remember going there sort of late 80s. David, that'll do for me, son. I remember going there late 80s, and it was a place to go. It was a dodgy place to go. Without a doubt, the whole casual thing and that. It was lively as fuck. But the last X amount, I mean, as I say, I've got some really top friends, comrades, Conley, big Republicans, socialists, working class. They're great, and they're really trying to, for whatever I said about Hibs, they're really trying to get to the roots again of the club, and they do a lot of similar stuff to the Green Brigade, charity-wise and all that. Great boys, great boys, but you support a country club, and it's just fucking petty. It's I think vindictive too, because Celtic and Hibs have always had a history at boardroom level, getting on.
Hibs were the club that objected to tricolour being flown at Celtic Park, wasn't it?
This is another myth as well. Hibs were an Irish diaspora club for about 5 minutes, and then they were. I'm sure they changed actually. I'm sure the club that was initially Hibernian and it was formed. I'm sure they actually changed club. I'm sure it's a bit like the Huns. They're not the same club. Okay, what I mean? They're literally not the same club. They were another club. It's not a dig. It's just historically fucking factual. Okay, what I mean? Certainly with the Huns anyway. But Hibs, I'm sure that's the case as well. And when it did, they went very Masonic. That's what I'm saying, Big Gus. Well, I'll see him. Whatever you, Benny, you leave Big Gus to me, son. I'll see Big Gus in Edinburgh, the Conley thing. And you leave him to me. He's about fucking 6'6", to be fair. Big gentle giant, a great boy. But I know Hibs is a bit of a myth. Hibs were then taking over by a Masonic mere side of things, and obviously you've got the beef with Celtic having the cheek to become the bigger club, and then take half their players, and they seem to have just never let that go. You know what I mean? It's like 100 years ago. So aye, they can go and get themselves fucked, and it's just the whole way this is going with tickets for away games, and
Crazy.
I mean the whole ethos of what football's about is rivalry. It's about atmosphere. It's about all the stuff that they're reducing for the game. The Huns obviously started it. Aberdeen weren't far behind. Aberdeen might have been first actually, but the Huns weren't far behind, or vice versa. And then everybody, I mean, when you've got St Mirren and Kilmarnock taking tickets off you, the game's fucked, you know what I mean? And it's just, I thought this time, and the reason they done it was because of the behaviour of the Huns. So they lumped us in with the Huns when the Huns had all the flares and the sign that there was I find they've just cottoned onto the fact that the Huns sing horrible songs. I thought was quite ironic because they've been doing that since, well, their two inceptions, their initial inception whenever they were formed, and then when they were formed again in 2012, they've been conducting themselves in exactly the same manner because it's the same side of shite that watched them. So I don't know why they took a big beef about that, and then they suddenly reduced the Huns. I think they had a massive pyro show at Easter Road one night, and they just reduced us Andiers at the same time. And unless somebody can correct me in the comments, because I've had this debate a couple of times with folk the day that I don't think, maybe had a pyro show at Easter Road, to be fair, if memory serves. But I don't think we've done anything to merit getting lumped in with they bastards, pardon my French. But it would appear we have been. And I thought this was the one that they might let that slide. Let's be honest, particularly as well, because the majority of their fans will be probably wanting us to fucking beat them. You know, wanting Hearts to win the league. So they've created a bit of a bad situation when it was very easily avoided for such a big game for us.
Paul, on that as well.
I was at that game. That was 87, 88 Fargo Fields. It wasn't the early 90s. It was 87, 88. Centenary season. Yeah.
And see, in all the years I went to Hibs, and I've been there many, many a time, one of my favourite away grounds to go to, packed out Celtic end, not a ticket to be had. And even in the Setanta days when money was getting thrown at it, even in the years after the Martin O'Neill era, and even when Hibs went down back up and you were at Easter Road, even when times were good, I suppose, for Hibs, they still didn't fill the other three ends of the stadium.
No, I never did.
So I don't get the theory where...
No.
If Celtic can give all that, I don't know the exact amount of thousands of Celtic fans that would be in that one stand, surely the money you're going to make out the tickets covers the policing and stewarding and then some. So can it be a money thing? It simply can't be a money thing. So why is it a spite thing?
Yeah.
You're only left with, well, why are you doing this?
And I think...
I don't get it.
There's a couple of... I love Franny, the Proclaimers are pricks and all, superb. Fargo Fields, it was actually 87, 88, it was actually Celtic get through to them because I know the boy, well, I knew the boy that done it. I was actually
Paul,
You what? No, but I knew it was happening at half time. The guy's got to jail for it, so it's no secret now. Because my brother was there I'm sure he was there. If he wasn't there with the Celtic mob, a lot of the folk for them filming where I was talking to them. And I'm sure Celtic had been playing in, I think it was Bremen, certainly Germany, somewhere or in Europe, and they brought it back for there.
Oh, Mike Galloway for about 30 yards.
No, that was Ekeren. That was Belgium. That was my first ever away game. First ever European. Aye. General Ekeren just outside. A few tales to tell for that trip, job, isn't there? Oh, you can't. Oh dear. So no, the Celtic mob the Celtic boys brought it back for Germany and fucked into the Hibs crowd at half time, which was absolutely mental. And there's how much football's changed though. The Oblant, the Celtic end, there was a fucking riot. The Celtic supporters attacked the Celtic casuals. It was bedlam. And then the teams came out and played the game. The teams went off, and that would never happen now. The whole game would be abandoned. And they come out and we scored them 1-1 from Machiavelli. Come out and scored them with 1-1-0.
Was that the chip for the edge of the box?
Could have been Baz, by the way. And I mind getting, I walked back to, my brother told me that, or the boys said it was horrendous, that the police were just letting them fucking get wired into the Celtic mob. Which, to be fair, wasn't the best idea to throw CS gas, but who am I to criticise? But I could have been that goal, by the way, Baz. I can't remember. I was only 15, and I remember just a kid, and I remember coming off the bus, and my mum getting met by my mum screaming at me that you'll never be back at another game. That's it. You'll never be back at another Celtic game. Which proven not to be the case. To be fair. But was that your first trip to Kez? Brilliant. Galloway scored a belter. One each. A wee Brazilian guy played for them. He'd cut his fingers off. Do you remember that story? He'd cut his fingers off the week before in a gardening incident. And he played. Is that what
happened to Barkas?
And I don't know how these things stick him up. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, but I remember this. Galloway scores a belter. That's your Tommy Coyne. Was it one each or two each? It was definitely a draw because the wee dude with the fingers popped up and scored a cracker too. Tiny wee grunt it was. So that was Germinal Ekeren. So I don't know if we got Feaster Road to there, but we did. Chub, there we go, Ekeren. Some trip, big man, innit? He's not going to answer that, but it's good times.
So Sunday, Andy, I said on last week's show that 2 games in a week against the same team makes me nervous. However, I think we've had a full week of training, albeit so St Mirren, but we're a different kettle of fish. Let's be honest. Hopefully, Martin's getting them well drilled. Hopefully, they've been coached a bit better as well. And I fully expect us to win. I can't make it. I'm working. So the brother-in-law, Paul's gone. He's gone to that. I start work too early to make it. I'm going with Martin O'Neill shutting the back door for the rest of the season. I'm going 2-0, gents. I'm going 2-0. And I think the starting 11 will be the same 11 from last Saturday with Scales out because he's suspended, and Big Ben Arthur in the right-hand side of the back two with Trusty slipping over to the left. I think Javanchira will get a stay of execution on Saturday with a view to, I think Ian Atcho's first start of the season might actually be the derby at home. So I think it'll be last week's 11 with Arthur in for Scales, Andy. That's my
What's your thoughts, Paul?
Can't argue with that at all. I think he's right. I don't think he drops Vanchara for Sunday. Is there an argument that the big man just needs a goal? It's well, but
please. Said please.
Aye, we were on Twitter, Chubb. Aye, yep, we were indeed. Stein is still on for it. Aye, I think he sticks. I'm not going to argue with that 11. I think Baz is spot on. I think he goes with that 11. I mean, he might start with. His fucking name just went right in my head. Fucking hell, man.
Dane Murray.
No, I think at the back. I think he goes with Big Arthur. I think he goes with Vanchara up front. In that job I was thinking about, but I think he'll go with Vanchara up front. Who, if you'd asked me that last week, I was like, I'm never want to see him again. But I'm 16.
Is the Cascarino about him, Paul?
I think so. Aye.
Yeah. Who does he remind me? He reminded me a bit of fuck. He's got a bit of Willie Faulkner about him. He's got a bit. I'm thinking really tall, shite Celtic centre forwards. A bit of Cascarino, but Cascarino had more power in him. Cascarino could have folk off in that, and he was fucking abysmal for Celtic. He did. He was at that game.
Oh yeah.
Was that the Sparkman pass back in? Nigel Sparkman.
Oh, brilliant.
Aye.
The way he reacted to it, he knew as soon as it left, he done it. Oh no, I've done it. And then aye. Right in the crowd. The Canio style, right in the crowd, man.
Aye. Was it that one? But no, I think Wayne Biggins, oh God almighty, kids, fuck's sake. All of them.
Who was the other one
So-
when about the Wayne Biggins time? Was it somebody Martin? We got him for Arsenal.
Lee Martin.
Martin Hayes.
Martin
Oh,
Hayes.
Martin, aye. Martin Hayes, aye.
He was going to be this, that, and the other, and he was fucking shite.
Oh my God.
Good art,
Aye,
but he
Martin
played in
Hayes.
the Arsenal team too. Played in a good. I'm sure he played
Aye.
the Arsenal team that won the league. I'm
Aye,
sure
it
he
was
maybe even played at Anfield that night when they won the league. There you go.
That was he did too, and that was the Merson Rocastle.
Aye, yeah.
Aye. You're right. It did.
Because Liverpool done the same. They bought that little bastard that's he's no, I've got in against the boy that scored the winner that night for Arsenal. What's his name? Thomas. Then Liverpool they done a Scott McDonald with him. They went and bought fucking him. Can't fuck that. You do that, you don't play for your club. You don't fucking go near that club. Ken what I mean? No fuck. And he didn't roll about in that as well when he scored.
Aye, that's right. Aye.
Ken what I mean? I mean, what? I'm sure that was a Friday night, that game. I remember what it was live on the telly.
It was.
It was a Friday night, I'm sure.
And they had to win 2-0 as well.
Aye, we did, aye. And by the way, John Barnes done, if you watch that, right? Do you know the famous one with David Ginola when he gets fucking destroyed for France no qualifying for the World Cup because he takes, instead of taking the ball to the corner, he tries to cross it and the Bulgarian boy gets ahead. Today, by the way, he runs the length of the park and hits it in the top shelf for fucking beauty, right? John Barnes that night, what's that goal, the second goal that Liverpool conceded that night? John Barnes has got the ball on the edge of the box. If John Barnes takes it into the corner, game's done. And he doesn't. He loses possession.
John Barnes,
possession, he gets pinned it, and the rest is history.
John Barnes or Wilfred Nancy, Andy?
John Barnes all day long.
Henrik finished him. See if Henrik doesn't get injured.
I know.
Can't that season. You can't that season. Anyway, we digress, Andy. Sorry, mate.
Aye. I think my personal opinion on the game in Sunday, I think we'll win. I'm going to go with 3-1. I think we'll lose a goal. But I fancy us to get 3, and don't ask me who's going to score. I really haven't got a clue. I'll fling Nigger in that. I'll fling Nigger in there. I'll say Yang, and I'll go with McGregor as a 3 goal scorer.
I think this is when you get a goal for Maeda. I said 2-0. I'll go Maeda, and I think I've got a sneaky for Big Svanchra. If he gets the start, I think even if it's the law of averages, I'll give the big man the law of averages. It's going to happen at some point, and then there'll be decision time for give Martin a good headache for the next home game against Falkirk, which is next Saturday, isn't it? Saturday at 5:30. What could go wrong, Paul?
Oh, plenty. Let's be fucking honest.
Right, that's us sitting at nearly an hour and 15 minutes, nearly. Anything else you want to say before we go?
My prediction, I'm going to go. I'm not even going to change it just because Baz has went with that. I'm going to go with the same scorers, the same scoreline. That's what I've been thinking all week. And I'm not going to go. But let's be honest, your 4 and 5-0s have come back to bite us in the arse regularly. So let's calm it down to a panic and let's have a 2-0, and we'll take it into the final.
No worries. Just a quick mention again for our sponsors, Atlantis.com. Go on there, get whatever you're buying, put in code CSP5 to get £5 off your order. And newly on board, McFadden Decker. If you're looking for anything getting painted, your living room, your motor, your hall, you'll even paint your dog. So... Go on, Stephen will sort you out there. So that's our 2 sponsors. So that's us. So we'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. We're all fit and ready to go on Monday.
I'm shifting Monday, so I'm definitely out for Monday. But
I'll be in on Monday. I don't think I'm not in a heavy one. Look about the place. I'm not in a heavy one on Sunday. So.
And a belated birthday wish to your Gracie.
Say that. Pissed herself laughing.
Oh, happy birthday, Gracie.
Well, Louise pissed herself. I didn't think you'd hear me there, pal. Sorry. I'm locked out of pal. I'm not here late when I told you that. Gracie's birthday. I saw it was Gracie's birthday on Tuesday. She's 20, so no teenagers in the house. And she's come to the game. She's coming through with us on Sunday. So, yeah, she'll be able to look after her all day and bring me home at a reasonable time.
Well, that's what I meant to say to you, Paul. I'm not going to be in the Beechwood on Sunday. My boy had forgot all about it, and he's actually working on Sunday anyway. So plus, I'm going to Ireland the next day, and I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to be an early night for me, unfortunately.
Not a problem, mate. Not a problem at all. Yes, I'm under the thumb, James, massively.
Right, guys. So that's just about us. Fingers crossed for the Hoops on Sunday, and we'll be watching a wee bit of interest tomorrow as well for the other semi-final to see who we could possibly meet if we dispatch of St Mirren. Yep. So that's us done. Thanks very much for watching. If you can become a member if you choose. You'll see the option in the description.
The subscriptions are sneaking up, Andy.
Aye, gradually going up. But there's still an awful lot of people know subbing when, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free. People seem to think when you press subscribe that it's going to cost you money.
Correct.
It's free. You can become a member if you choose. If you don't want to, that's fine. We're still going to be here. We're still going to be here every Friday and Monday talking shite to you. So, but thanks everybody for watching. Baz, thank you. Paul, thanks very much. Come on, Celtic. The CSP is out.